Howdy, partner. Howdy. Howdy, partner. What you doing around these parts? Howdy. Sup? Hello. Welcome to my first ever video. I don't know why I did this. It just felt right. But hello. This is everything that I've made in 2023. I'm gonna keep the mustache on. Just for you. So this video isn't really going to be in a accurate chronological order. I've kind of divided it up into categories. So we're going to go with tops, hats, other, pretty much. That's basically how it's going to go. So yeah, stick around if you want to see some stuff that I did. We have this granny square heart cardigan. I got this yarn, this pink and red yarn, from a thrift store. I found it in a bag, and there was what seemed like a ton of it. And I thought, wow, this is perfect. I can totally start like a big project feeling no pressure with this. And I thought, what better than a granny square cardigan? You know, granny squares sound like an easy beginner project, and putting them into a cardigan is only one extra step. You know, how hard can it be? And then I can have a finished product that looks pretty put together, and like it took a lot of effort. So I started crocheting the hearts first, and then I turned those hearts into squares, and I just kept going with those until I thought I had enough. I eventually ran out of the pink. I had plenty of red, but I ran out of the pink. So I took a piece of like scrap yarn of the pink with me to Joann's, and I tried to color match it as best I could. It wasn't great. The new yarn that I got was like shiny, totally different. So I ended up using all of that as well, and had to go back another time to get another pink, and it was another shade of pink. I didn't care. I still don't care. All that mattered to me was that I got this project done, and I needed to prove to myself that I could see something through to the end, and end up with a finished piece that looks like something tangible, like something real. And I did just that. I ran into a couple other challenges, like the ribbing is not ribbing. It's just double crochet. And then for some reason it clicked that I should probably like look up a video on how to do ribbing. So I did that for the cuffs. The cuffs are great. I found some wood buttons, and I sewed them on with like actual sewing thread. I probably should have just used the red yarn, but I think the holes were too small. So I made it work. You know, it's not great by any means. Like, it's not of selling quality. It's definitely a mine forever kind of project, but it's super special. So then I had it all put together, and I thought, it's incomplete. It needs another detail. What would make it more me? Broken hearts. Let's make it a little emo. So I sewed broken like heart shatters into all of the red hearts with the pink backgrounds. And then I made a beret to go with it. I did this completely wrong as well. I used the leftover red that I had. Like I said, there was plenty of red. And I ended up completing the beanie in a way that was wrong. Like, the outside of the beanie is the wrong side of the stitches. But it's too late. I finished it that way. You cannot wear it flipped the right way / wrong way. It's got to stay like that. I had so much red left over and some of the wrong pink that I decided to make a half and half cat beanie to also match. So I know the hat section is supposed to come later, but these first two projects I made matching hats, and I just kind of wanted to throw those in so you could see the complete look. So yeah. After I completed the heart cardigan, my confidence was boosted. I was ready to take on a more challenging challenge, and I decided that that was going to be um, this sweater. So this is my first time doing like a graphic crochet project, a what's it called? Tapestry crochet project. Um, so I found out about Stitch Fiddle and I designed these images. Um, I'm pretty sure like I took the leaf from Google or something and just kind of traced it, so that one's not original. But the I don't know what isn't allowed on. I'm pretty sure this is allowed on YouTube because I follow some people who post 420 content regularly. So I'm just gonna say the words and we're gonna see what happens. Um, I designed the bong, I designed the joint, and I designed the lighter. So um, I had a lot of fun creating those charts, and then I did a test run of like a smaller version of the leaf to try to figure out what I can do, how it's going to look, what I need to do to switch the colors and stuff. I did a little bit of research. I watched a couple of videos, and it looked rather confusing, and everyone was doing single crochet. I hate that stitch. I despise single crochet. I refuse. So I was going to do it in a half double crochet, and that's what I did. So I did 2 practice squares of the miniature leaves. I got pretty confident and bold, and I just hopped right into the big leaf. I got that done, and then I did the lighters. I did 2 lighters because I thought it would be cute to do. I just wanted a lighter on each arm, you know? And then a joint and a bong are 2 of my favorite, my favorite methods, I guess. um, so I did those. And I put those together with a lighter in the bong, a lighter in the joint as the sleeves. And then I was running out of time because I was making this for a specific event. And the event was like approaching. I was supposed to meet a bunch of people. They were all going in the morning. I didn't finish the sweater until I think like 4 p.m. So then I went up there alone. And it was cold. It was so cold. I was wearing 2 sweaters under this one. I couldn't stay long, but I got a ton of compliments. I felt really accomplished. It was, like a little bit of a main character moment, but not obnoxiously. Like I wasn't walking around like, "Hey, look at me. I made this." No, I was just wearing it. And there were a bunch of other people there that made things for the event. So I had a fun time complimenting what other people designed. There were a bunch of shawls. They were so cute. And then later on, I ended up making this bucket hat to go with it. Um, yeah. So the bucket hat, I made the 4 granny squares. There's a pattern for these granny squares. I can link that in the description. Um, and the granny squares have holes behind the leaves, and I didn't like that. So when it comes to making it a hat, I just didn't like that. So I crocheted regular granny squares or circles to go behind and patch that hole. And then I just crocheted a circle for the top and added a brim, and it's such a cute little set. All right, so it is about at this point in my fiber arts career that I got sucked into the Centro trend. I needed one, but I could not afford a Centro, so I got the Amazon knockoff. It's like purple and white. I cannot pronounce it. I don't think it's a pronounceable word, but it's like $20 cheaper. It does the same thing. So I got that, and I made this jumper. It's like what UK people call it. Um, it's like a sweater, like a crop sweater, but it's not really like a warm sweater. It's kind of just like a long sleeve shirt made out of yarn, and it's knit. It's like I'm gonna call it a crop jumper. Okay, that's just what I'm gonna say. Um, but so I did 2 panels, a front and a back panel, and then I did the arms as tubes, the tube setting. And originally I wanted it all to be the blue, but I was running out of the blue yarn. So I found this project that I had started in like 2020 and gave up on with this pink yarn and decided that I was just going to do like a two-tone opposite block moment for the sleeves. And I actually really love the way that it turned out. The sleeves are super long. They're definitely oversized. I kind of like that look. It wasn't on purpose, but it's like a happy little accident. And I think it's really cute. I think it's a cute little jumper. I love it. It's adorable. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. Okay, so my next project on the Centro was Tanjiro's kimono from Demon Slayer. I really wanted to make this. I just really wanted to make it. And I didn't want it to fit like a cardigan. I wanted it to fit as close to a kimono as I could get it. I looked up a couple of, like, I did some research on it. I looked up some videos on like crochet kimonos. There was someone who did like pretty much a granny square hexagon cardigan, but kimono style. So I kind of eyeballed the proportions and tried to replicate that as best as I could. And I ended up making like checkered strips on the Centro. So I kind of eyeballed out a square going back and forth in a little panel with the blue, and then I switched to the black, eyeballed out the same. Well, at that point I had counted how many rows were in the blue square that I eyeballed at first, and that was like the number that I stuck with. So then I repeated that. And I made sure that the length was going to go from the top of my shoulder down to underneath my knee pits, like right in the middle of my knee pits. And I did, a couple strips for the back, attached those together. I did a couple strips for the front portions of the cardigan, attached those to themselves, and then attached those to the back as well. And then for the sleeves, I ended up knitting basically 3 strips all together. I got more comfortable with color changing on the Centro and decided to do 3 strips all clustered together at once, all in one piece of fabric for the sleeves. But that wasn't wide enough, so I ended up doing one more panel and attaching them together as like a row of 4. So then I blocked everything, and then I sewed the sides up, and then from there I sewed the sleeves together. Oh, well, I attached the sleeves to the body first, and then I did that. And it turned out great. There are a lot of mistakes. There's a couple snags, a couple drop stitches, a couple places where the squares don't perfectly line up. The squares are kind of rectangles. Like, I eyeballed the shit out of this project. I did not measure, I did not plan, I did not gauge swatch. I am just now getting a comprehension on gauge. Like, this was a fully eyeballed project, and I'm so happy with how it turned out for that. It became like my house robe. I wear it all the time. I wear it as a blanket. If I'm home and it's clean, I'm living in it. And it's holding up pretty well in the washer too. I'm satisfied with how it turned out. It was a long journey to get it done. It was an exhausting project. It took a lot. It tested my patience for sure, but I'm super glad that I finished it. Okay, so for this cardigan, I had been wanting to hop on the granny hexagon crochet cardigan trend. And I'd also just found this yarn, a Halloween collection. Halloween is my favorite holiday, and I was feral at the idea of making Halloween stuff. Just stuff. So I ordered this yarn. I ordered a lot of it because I knew I wanted to make a cardigan. And I just kind of decided on the color scheme as I went. And I love the way that it turned out, don't get me wrong, but I will never buy this yarn again. The quality is just not it. It's really thin. It's supposed to be a worsted weight 4. It's not. It's like a 3 at best. It's like craft quality, like it's the fibers are really short and thin and wispy, and there's tons of factory knots in the skein. Like, multiple different colors had 3 or more factory knots in one skein. There were snags and stuff in the skein of yarn as I was pulling it out and working it up, And now that I've worn the cardigan that I finished, it's pilling so bad under the armpit where the material kind of rubs together on itself. It's pilling so bad. And like that's to be expected with acrylic yarn for sure. That's not like it only happens with this. This is terrible yarn because it no, it's just a little excessive. And the colors, when they all pill together, the fiber is like overlapping and it kind of mixes the colors together in the lighting when you're from a distance, so it just kind of looks like baby poop brown from afar. And for that reason, once again, this is mine forever. I will not sell this, but I still love it. I still really love it. I still love the way that it turned out. I learned a lot making this, and I have 4 other granny hexagon cardigans in the works that were obviously like inspired by the love that I had for making this first one. And I finished another one that I gave away as a gift. I'll put a picture right here. It was a turtle themed one. Made it for a little cutie that I know, and I really love the changes, the adjustments, the things that I tried out on this one. I tried the V-neck. I love that. I added thumb holes. Love those. I made buttonholes in the ribbing. That's a huge accomplishment for me. I made buttonholes, and I sewed the buttons on a little bit better on this one. Love it. This right here is prize work of 2023. This was my magnum opus for the year. But I can't wait to make these other, what did I say, 1, 2, 3, 4, these other 4 that I have laying around the room. I can't wait to make those, and they're all going to be a little different too. Oh, real quick for that one, for this Halloween one and the turtle one, both, but the Halloween one is the one that I did it first. I put my logo in there in beads. I started doing this with a lot of my other projects as well. This is kind of like how I put my logo on. I don't have like a tag. I don't have like leather tags. I don't have hand sewn in tags or anything like that. So I think I'm going to do beads for now. I might change it later. I don't know, but it just seems like, I don't know. I really like it. I think it's really fun. And I think it's really like youthful, like childish and in a fun way. They kind of look like the little building blocks, you know? So I sewed them in on the Halloween one. That was the first time doing it. I crocheted them into place and I loved it. So obviously I did it for the turtle one as well, and I did it for a lot of other upcoming projects that I'm going to talk about in this video. And I think I'm going to keep doing that for a while. I really like it right now. I'm really into it. Okay, next up we have the green and purple shrug, and I used the same yarn that I used for my other Centro sweater, the crop jumper. I'd had that original yarn for the pink and purple one for years and years and years, like 10 years, and I didn't have the label. I didn't know what it was. So I like reverse image searched it and found loops and threads, and that's exactly what it was. And I ordered it in so many colors that are so beautiful. And the first thing that I made was this cropped shrug bolero shrug thingy. I love it. It's like, it's got distressed finishing, so I dropped a lot of stitches intentionally. I added the bead logo on the cuff, and I have thumb holes. They're not like official thumb holes, not like better ones that I did for the turtle hexagon cardigan. They're like drop stitch thumb holes, which I like a lot, especially for the distressed overall look, because you can pick where your thumb goes. Like you can have it in the middle of the cuff, at the bottom of the cuff, the top, wherever is comfortable for you. I love it. So I made the panels, the front panel and the back panel on the Centro the same way that I did for the jumper, and then tube sleeves same way. I just dropped a couple stitches when I was adding the finishing touches, and the ribbing, what I did for attaching the sleeves to the panels, obviously the panel is a lot skinnier than the sleeve is, so there was just like some opening of the sleeve that wasn't tied to anything, it wasn't sewn to anything, so I used the ribbing to connect those two pieces together and close it all up. And I really like the way that that turned out. So then I ended up doing a black one, just a plain black one on the flatbed knitting machine behind me. And for this one, I knit the front and the back all together in one piece. I just kind of cast off and did neck shaping, and then I worked one side of the shoulder and then the other side of the shoulder with two separate yarn balls, switching back and forth when I glued my little slider thing across the knitting bed. And then I attached it again in the back to make the back of the neck, and continued on with one ball of yarn for the back piece. Same thing, dropped a couple stitches. The drop stitches in this one and the neck shaping combination made it like wider, made it a little longer, so it ended up being a couple size grades bigger than the first one that I made, which I love that because it's like oversized on me, and if someone, it could potentially fit a larger range of people than the green one could. So I did the sleeves. I'm pretty sure I did the sleeves on the Centro still on the tube setting because that's just super convenient. And then I did the ribbing and the cuffs on the flatbed knitting machine again and beaded the cuff. This time I did 2 lines for the logo, Blue Siren, and then stitches on a separate line to kind of make the beads a little more spaced out. I really love the way that turned out, and it's got the same thumb holes. I really love this one. Obviously it's very basic, but it goes with so much. I wish I had made this like a few days earlier. I had an event I really wanted to wear it to, and that's what made me even think of it in the first place. I love it, love it, love it so much. I want to make a couple more in a couple different colors, a couple different styles. So I'm excited to see what I make in 2024. Oh, I also hand knit this tank top. I played around with Intarsia with this because I really want to do color work with my knitting. And I want to make a lot more knit garments. So I played around with Intarsia and I learned a lot. This, once again, is a for me forever type thing. It's not, the quality isn't of, it's not at sales level. But I did learn a lot about tension, and I'm applying that to my current knitting project. So I'm excited to get better and to see what I can make. Okay, so that almost concludes the tops. The only thing left is this Barbie top that I made. I'm only going to put up my Instagram picture. I'm not trying that on again. The back is corset, which is cute and adjustable and fun and all, but it's a freaking hassle to get in and out of. So if I'm not wearing that all day, I'm not putting it on. Here's the Instagram picture. And the hat that I made to match it. I made both of these. It's like just pattern tests, just trying methods out, just having fun designing off the top of my head. But I ended up wearing it to the Barbie movie and acting like that was intentional. So that's what I'm calling it now. Okay, so hat section. I started crocheting recently with the hats. The hats are what sucked me in. I wanted to make a cat hat. So I started with this big chunky purple cat hat beanie because I found this big chunky yarn in my stash that I dug out to hop on the trend with, and I love it. And I thought, perfect, it's chunky, it'll work up super quick. It's exactly what I need for my first project. And I was right. It satisfied me completely and got me hooked on crocheting. So it's a little awkward. I definitely feel like it's a little bit of an awkward length. Like, I want to fold it up like it has a brim, but it's too short if I do that. So I just kind of wear it like this. It's kind of heavy, so it's one of those hats that's just for outside, not really for all day wear. And then from here, I made a blue one. I don't have a video of me trying it on, but here's a picture. I made another one of these blue ones too and gave it away. So like someone out there has a matching hat with me. I forgot to talk about this one too. This is the blue and pink cat hat. I changed this one and set it down and worked on 27 billion other projects, and then came back to it and had completely forgotten what I was doing. I thought I was doing a half double crochet. I was actually doing a double crochet, messed up the line. This is a plain cat hat, plain black. I had a lot of people ask for one of these. I think that makes sense. Obviously, people are going to wear more basic things that they can kind of mix and match with everything. I tend to create in colors, so I do need to just kind of keep that in mind, make a couple basics here and there. And I really love the way it turned out. I love the logo beading on there. I did it on the brim, so you cannot feel the beads at all when you're wearing it. It's really nice. I love this one. the Franken cat hat beanie. Half green, half purple. I wanted it to be like Frankenstein. Some people say it reminds them of the Joker, which obviously I can't control how you read it, but that was not my intention. It's supposed to be Frankenstein. And I hand stitched the little stitch details on there and added safety pins for extra edginess. And I sewed the brim down so it stays in place, and I really like how it turned out. This is a cat hat that resembles a certain character that I think we can all recognize. I made it with the same fuzzy yarn that I made the bear hat out of, the bear bucket hat, and just added a bow with the leftover red yarn that I had from the Crochet Heart cardigan. This is the fuzzy bear bucket hat. I love it. I love it. I love it. The ears, they turned out perfectly. I did all the adjustments that I learned about from my mouse hat. The frill is beautiful. The brim is beautiful. It's so cozy and warm. This is like the perfect winter bucket hat. It's one of my favorite things that I've ever made. It's a bunny ski mask. Just take it in. Just take it in for a moment. It's made with the fuzzy yarn that I did the cat hat and the bear bucket hat out of. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's very impractical. Very impractical. The ears weigh it down. It kind of slides back on your head eventually. But it's just great. I love it so much. It's mine forever. So then I got a ton of ideas for bucket hats, and I really wanted to just kind of play around with them at first. So I went to Walmart and got some yarn to play around with, and that's the yarn that I made like the Barbie outfit out of. I also made this bucket hat, and I wanted to put ears on it. I wanted it to be like a bear hat, but the placement that I did here kind of makes it look a little bit more mousy. So, I learned a lot. It served its purpose, but this was definitely just a practice hat. I ended up wearing it to work a lot. It's still cute. You know, it's definitely still something that I'll wear. It's just not something that's like, oh my god, look what I made. It's just like, yeah. This was the first interpretation of the rainbow flower hat. This was why I learned to put a backing to cover the holes, because I feel like the holes in this hat are just really awkward. I feel like it shows an awkward amount of forehead if you don't have bangs. Your hair kind of pokes out in weird ways sometimes. It's just not ideal. So I didn't even bother weaving in any ends or trying with it. It was basically, once again, just like a trial run. So I took everything I learned from this one and put it into the rainbow hat, and I'm really glad that I did. But this one is still cute. Like, I still keep it because it's like, look how far I came. And it's still good. It's just not perfect. I love this one. This one came out so perfectly. This red silly little devil hat. I love the frilly brim, and then I decided, instead of putting the horns, you know, facing the way they normally do, it's gonna be a silly little guy, just a goofy little dude, and he's gonna have silly horns. And that's not like an original thought, obviously, but it was the creative decision that I wanted to go with, and I'm so happy with the way it turned out. I'll briefly mention this child's devil hat. It was kind of a fail. It was kind of just, it didn't check any of the boxes that I went into it intending for it to check. But it exists. This is the bully bucket hat. This one is rounded. There's not like a clear distinction between the top of the hat and the body of the hat. It's kind of smoothed out, almost like a beanie. And it's ribbed. The frill, it's ribbed. The frill, it's got the frill on the brim. And the horns, instead of being placed here like where devil horns would go, I placed them kind of more side and front. So that way, when you wear it, it translates more like a bull. And someone was like, oh, as a Taurus, I need this. And I was like, oh my god, I didn't even think about that, but that is so perfect. Maybe I'll do some sort of zodiac, what's it called, line? Like collection? Like a zodiac collection? Maybe. This one is a frog bucket hat. I made it a little bit too big for me. It definitely will fit somebody. It's about like 24 inches circumference. But the big old buggy frog eyes are just so adorable. I made 3 circles per eye, big green one, smaller white one, smaller black one, and I sewed them together, and then I sewed each eye onto the hat. And I really love the way it turned out. This is Kuma's hat from One Piece. I definitely want to make this again, but I think I did really good for my first attempt. Some things I want to change. I need to make the bucket hat a little bit longer. I need to make the brim a little bit more. I need to make it come out a little bit longer, a little bit more dramatic, just slightly. I need the ears to be a little bit lower. I need to make the inside color come out to the edges of the ear curve flap. And the brown on the outside needs to be a darker shade. And I can do all of those things. And I cannot wait to make a new one. I'm going to try to time it to where Kuma's story comes out with One Piece. So it's like exciting and fun and I can wear it while I watch it. This is Corazone's hood from One Piece. So another One Piece inspired hat. I fell in love with Corazon. I know he's a blip of a character in the One Piece universe. I fell in love with him, okay? He's a beautiful human. So I found a pattern for a pretty simple crochet hood and found yarn that was close enough and just made it. And it's a wool blend, so it's really warm. I love it actually. It's a pretty great hood. I know it's not completely accurate to how he looks in One Piece, but it's Corazon inspired and it makes me happy, okay? Okay, all these next ones are pretty boring and basic, so I'm just going to kind of speed run them with you. So we got big slouchy chunky crochet beanie. Love it. It's heavy. It's another one of those things that you can only really wear while you're outside, but it's super cozy. Love it, love it, love it. Plain black bucket hat, the soft edge one, rounded one with the frilly brim. The same as the bully bucket hat, just without the horns. I'm going to make a couple more of these. My idea is that I'm going to have the base of the hats done, and then it'll be like a pick your own ears type of a deal. So that's in the works. I don't know when I'll have that ready, but that is something that I want to do as soon as I can. This is, I call it the gradient beanie, obviously because it's a gradient, made with scarfy yarn. Crochet beanie, super comfy, super light. That's one that you can kind of put on and forget that you're wearing it, except for the fact that it's keeping you warm. Next I have 2 knit beanies with matching scrunchies, a red one and a purple one. The red one is kind of small. It came out really small on the Centro. It's more like a kid's size. The purple one is slouchy, fits nice. I love the scrunchies that go with them. They're really floofy. So I think that's really cute. I love the sets. I want to do some more of these in other colors and maybe add some cute little designs on the hat in duplicate stitch. So we'll see if I get around to that this year. So then I made some balaclavas too, and I started with this hot pink one, and I wanted to make it Louise Belcher's hat, and I'm still going to do that. I just didn't get to finish it before the year ended. I was really stumped on how to get the ears to stand up. But I have a ton. I have a ton of these bunny ears from the dollar store. So I just cut a pair open and cut the headband to where it was just a strip that holds the 2 plastic bits up. And I sewed that into the underneath of the hat and just poked the plastic ears through the top of the hat. And now I'm just going to crochet individual bunny ear sleeves to go over those and sew them onto the balaclava. And it's going to be perfect. And I can't wait to finish it. But while I was working on this and trying it on, all I could think in my head, like all that kept replaying over and over again was big, pink, and scary. So I decided to make this Alaskan bullworm balaclava. I worked with the yarn that I had in my stash, so the colors aren't perfect, but I'm actually really proud of this. I crocheted the teeth on. And eventually I'm going to knit a matching scarf, like a skinny scarf, and it's going to be the pink and then a darker pink to be like the tongue. It'll be an artistic interpretation. It's not going to be exactly how it was on SpongeBob, but the next session is honorable mentions. They are unfinished pieces. that I hope to finish this year. So I've got a strawberry hat that's red and a strawberry hat that's pink. Both of them are made with pearl beads sewn in as the strawberry seeds, and I just have to crochet the leafy top, and they'll be done. And then I have two Halloween beanies that need puffballs, and the puffballs are going to be very specific, and I cannot wait to make those. So those will be launched for Halloween next year. I'm so excited, or Halloween this year, I should say. Okay, hi. I was editing the video and I realized that I forgot a couple of things. So let me just quickly mention. This is my wedding dress that I knit. I made this on the flatbed knitting machine. Um, I made it in 9 days total, and it was like a whirlwind. I don't remember much other than being frantically hunched over that knitting bed, just working my butt off, jotting down numbers that make no sense to me looking back now, but I needed those numbers to be able to make the dress happen. And then I finally sewed all the separate pieces together, and it was weird and lumpy, and I had to fold it over and create other hemlines to even it out, but I love the way it ended up turning out. It was gorgeous. It was better than I could have imagined. Being able to do, I just started knitting. Are you kidding me? And I was able to make that. It was great. It was great. I love it. I will cherish this for the rest of my life. I also forgot to mention all my leg warmers. So this first turquoise pair I made to match a specific dress that I wore on my birthday, and I got the idea for the leg warmers the day I was gonna go out for my birthday at work, and I was sitting there like, oh, do you think I can crochet them in the time between me getting off work and me going out tonight? No, there's no way. Unless. No, that's crazy. I shouldn't even waste I need to take a nap and shower and unless. So I came home from work, took a shower, took a nap, woke up, did my makeup, got dressed, and I was like, well, now I just gotta wait a couple hours. So then I started crocheting them, and of course I only got one of them halfway done. I was not wearing them out that night. I did not have them ready for the fit. But I continued to make them anyway, and I made the rookie mistake. So I crocheted these, right? I crocheted them back and forth in a flat panel. And I made the mistake of sewing the first panel before I created the second one. So I completed the first leg warmer, and then I didn't keep any records, and I just eyeballed it for the second one, and you can imagine how that turned out. It looks fine visually when you're wearing them, but when they're off and next to each other, you can tell one is bigger than the other. So once again, mine forever. But they're so cute, and I will definitely wear them regardless. And then I made these super adorable pumpkin leg warmers with yarn that my friend gave me. They're so sweet. They just gave me this yarn. They're like, I'm not gonna use it. I see you making stuff. I want you to make this into something. I knew exactly what I wanted them to be. Oh my goodness, it was spooky season. I think it was either late September or early October, somewhere around that time. And I just no, wait, hold up. Maybe it was just regular September or late August even. I thought it was later than that. But no, because I had just made the leg warmers for my birthday, which is in August. So, and then I immediately started these ones with, I liked how the first pair, the turquoise pair that I made, folds over. I like that look. But I wanted to do all crochet ribbed, still flared, but without folding over, and I wanted them to be long. So I started with 1x1 ribbing, and then I did 2x2, and then I did 3x3. And for the first pair, I just kind of randomly switched, or for the first leg warmer, I just kind of randomly switched between the yellow and the orange whenever I felt like it, and came up with that stripe pattern. And then I wanted to do the jack-o'-lantern face for the other pair, for the other side of the leg warmers. And so I made the chart. No. So I looked up a chart. I looked up a chart and I tweaked it and adjusted it and made it to where it would fit for this pattern. And basically, to get the chart to read correctly while doing a crochet rib stitch, instead of one square equaling one stitch, one square equaled a stitch in the first row and a stitch in the second row. So I did each row of the chart twice, and that's how it ended up looking clear. So then I did one side of the pumpkin orange with yellow detailing, and then the other side yellow with orange detailing. And I ran out of yarn when I was making this. I was playing yarn chicken like a motherfucker. You don't understand. I bought a scale specifically to see if I would be playing yarn chicken with this project, and I knew if my tension wasn't tighter than usual, I would run out of yarn at the tail end, and that's exactly what happened. So I once again had to just kind of yarn match with what I had at home, and it ended up working out. You really can't tell. You really can't tell. It's so hard to notice. I think I did amazing with these, and I am so in love with them, and if nobody buys them, I am keeping them forever. Okay, and then the next pair that I made is these chunky purple and pink ones. I found Big Twist purple yarn with green metallic wire through them on clearance at Joann's for super cheap. There's only one ball. So I was like, well, what can I make with these? And I was inspired by the pumpkin ones I just made. So I wanted to do the same thing pretty much, just more striped. So I did half purple, half pink for one, and then striped for the other. And I ran out of pink first. And I had just enough purple left over when I was finished to do a hand warmer. And I've been searching for the other pink yarn to do the other hand warmer, and I finally found it. So I'm going to complete that and update this listing to be a set pretty soon. So I'm going to actually take it down from my site real quick, so that I can complete this and offer it as a set, a cute little leg warmer, hand warmer moment. Okay, I think that is actually it. I think I actually covered everything that I made in 2023. But yeah, follow me on Instagram. I post about my crochet and knit over there. I also have a Pinterest. You can follow me there as well. I just started Facebook. I haven't used Facebook in like 5 years, so I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm going to start a TikTok, but I misspelled my username, so I have to wait a month and correct that before I actually start using it. But just check the description. My other links are there. Oh, Etsy. I do have an Etsy, and a lot of the things that I went over in this video are available. So check that out if you're interested. If you're not, don't worry about it. But I can't wait to keep making videos. I'm gonna see, where this takes me. I want to try to kind of take you along on some of the things that I make, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you watched this whole video, first of all, wow, that's crazy to even conceptualize, but thank you so much. Leave a turtle emoji in the comments if you stayed all the way. That would be so cool. Subscribe if you want, and I'll see you later.